Assalamu alaikum grade 5. Hope everybody is fine and safe at home. Students, today we are going to start our final term syllabus, and the first unit from final term syllabus is unit 6, that is the wrong house. Students, tell me, you can see there is a column at page 71. And the column is see, today with the help of science and technology we have produced tools that help us fight crime. Some of these devices are listed in column A. Match each tool with its use given in column B. I am not going to solve it for you people. You will solve it by yourself after reading this unit. Okay. Many of you likes the thrilling and adventurous movies and suspense type movies ना, तो आपको जिसमें इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रही हो, जिसमें कुछ सस्पेंस हो, इस तरह की मूवीज़ अक्सर बहुत पसंद की जाती हैं. एज द चैप्टर नेम डिस्क्राइब्स द रॉन्ग हाउस, तो इसमें ऐसा फील हो रहा है जैसे कि कोई डिटेक्टिव या कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो है वो स्टार्ट होने वाली है, या हो सकता है, मे बी आई एम रॉन्ग, but please make some guess what kind of or chapter would it be. Okay, now start the story. Two men ran quietly towards the house. One of them carried a small suitcase. When they reached the porch, they stopped and listened. The night was dark and silent. In the first paragraph, the picture, the whole scene is described that there were two men, and they were running towards the house, which was when they reached the porch means a small area of the entrance of a house covered by a roof. एक ऐसा एरिया जहाँ हम गाड़ी खड़ी करते हैं उसको पोर्च बोलते हैं. The night was dark and silent, that it was quite dark and silent, and there are two men basically. ठीक है. One of the men took out a bunch of keys. They entered. They examined the room by the light of the torch. उनमें से एक आदमी के पास बहुत सारी चाबियां हैं, चाबियों का गुच्छा है. वो दाखिल हुए एक घर में और उन्होंने अच्छी तरह से टॉर्च से उस कमरे का मुआयना किया. Come towards page number 72. It was a large living room. The furniture was covered. Dust lay over everything. One of the men spoke. Well, Blackie, he said, looks as if the family is away on holiday. They searched the house. There was no doubt the family was away. Okay, from this paragraph, we come to know the name of one person, that is Blackie. Okay, that is Blackie, and the whole physiognomy is described like it was a large living room, and the furniture was covered with the cloth, and but it was dusty all around, and they searched the house completely and then said the house was empty and there were nobody in the home. Hasty Hogan and Blackie Burns were in luck. Okay, students, come towards the second name. The person name is Hasty Hogan. Now both were in luck. Only once in the past 10 days had their luck failed them. It had been soon after they made their big robbery in that town on the coast. Blackie, who had been driving the car, ran over a policeman. They had abandoned the car and ran for their lives. It is described that both of the men were robbers. Now we come to know that Blackie and Hasty Hogan were professionally robbers, and in the past 10 days they were only one time they had bad luck when after made a big robbery. They were just running, and their police were police were at the back of them, and then when they were running they had abandoned the car, means उनको अपनी कार छोड़नी पड़ी अपनी ज़िंदगी बचाने के लिए. और ये एक बदकिस्मती उनके साथ हुई थी पिछले 10 दिनों में. बाकी उनके साथ सब कुछ अच्छा हो रहा था, मींस कि उन्होंने जितनी भी दफ़ा रोबरी की, जितनी भी दफ़ा चोरी की, तो उनकी लक ने उनका साथ दिया था. Students, in the yellow box you can see the meanings as well. Luck, good things that happen by chance and not hard work. Ran over, knocked a person down and drove over his body, means यहाँ पे हमने पढ़ा है ran over a policeman के knocked a person down, किसी को बंदे को गिराना, और drove over his body, उसके ऊपर से गाड़ी चला देना. Cellar, an underground room used for sorting things. And now they were here in a strange town without a car, but they had the suitcase and the $300,000 in it. Okay, they were out of the car now. They were without car, but now they are having the suitcase and with the $3,000 as well. We have to get a car, said Hogan. We can't steal one. It's too dangerous. We have to buy one. When Hogan said we should get a car because it's impossible for us to survive, but we cannot steal that. कि हम गाड़ी चुरा नहीं सकते, ये हमारे लिए बहुत ख़तरनाक बात है, हमें उसे ख़रीदना पड़ेगा. But what are we going to do with the suitcase, said Burns. Okay, hide it right here until we get a car. Okay, but the Husty Hogan is says that we have to get but we are we going to do with the suitcase कि हम इस suitcase के साथ क्या करने लगे हैं. हम इस सूटकेस के साथ क्या करेंगे. जब बंस ने कहा हाइड इट राइट हियर अंटिल वी गेट अ कार, कि हम इस कार को हम इसको यहाँ ही दबा देते हैं जब तक हमें कार नहीं मिल जाती. एंड सो दे हिड द सूटकेस. They carried it down to the coal cellar and buried it in the pile of coal. उन्होंने क्या किया, वो सूटकेस लेकर गए एक रूम में. एक कोल सेलर मीन्स एक अंडरग्राउंड रूम होता है जहाँ हम चीज़ों को यूज फॉर सॉर्टिंग थिंग्स, चीज़ों को अरेंज करके रखा जाता है वहाँ पे. तो वहाँ उन्होंने उस कोयले के ढेर के नीचे उसको दफना दिया सूटकेस को. जस्ट बिफोर डॉन दे स्टेप्ड आउट. से ब्लैकी, होगन रिमार्क्ड. द नेम ऑफ द जेंटलमैन वी आर विजिटिंग इज मिस्टर सैम्यूल डब्ल्यू रोजर्स. ओके, नाउ द स्टोरी हैज़ बिगन. ठीक है. जस्ट बिफोर डॉन मीन्स डॉन इज़ द वेरी अर्ली टाइम ऑफ द मॉर्निंग. ओके, वो बाहर आए. ब्लैकी ने कहा से ब्लैकी होगन रिमार्क. द नेम ऑफ द जेंटलमैन, जिस आदमी से आज हम मिलने जा रहे हैं उसका नाम है मिस्टर सैम्यूल डब्ल्यू रोजर्स. शॉर्टली आफ्टर द ऑटोमोबाइल शोरूम ओपन, होगन एंड बर्न्स हैड देयर कार. थोड़ी देर बाद उन्होंने शोरूम से कार परचेज कर ली. दे स्टॉप द कार अ शॉर्ट डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द हाउस. होगन गॉट आउट एंड वॉक टूवर्ड्स द हाउस. ठीक है, वो उन्होंने कार उसी घर से थोड़ा दूर रोकी और उसमें से होगन बाहर आया और उस घर की तरफ चला. 50 yards from the house he stopped. The windows were open. The family had returned. Okay, the tragedy now has begun. That family had returned now. Hogan thought quickly. Quick, he said to Burns, let's find a telephone. Okay, Burns को एक आइडिया आया. उसने कहा कि जल्दी से फ़ोन ढूंढो. 10 minutes later, Hogan was consulting a telephone directory. Yes, there it was. Samuel W. Rogers, Plainview 63229. A moment later, he was talking to Mr. Rogers. Hello, is this Mr. Rogers? Mr. Samuel Rogers? Yes, this is Mr. Rogers. Okay, 10 मिनट बाद होगन को एक टेलीफोन डायरेक्टरी से एक नंबर मिला जो कि था सैम्यूल डब्ल्यू रोजर्स का. मींस कि जो उस घर में आदमी रहता था जिस घर में उन्होंने सूटकेस को दफनाया था. कुछ देर बाद उसने कॉल पे पूछा कि क्या यहाँ पे सैम्यूल रोजर्स रहते हैं, और उसने बोला हाँ. होगन क्लियर्ड हिज थ्रॉट. मिस्टर रोजर्स, ही सेड इन अ शार्प ऑफिशियल टोन. This is police headquarters. I am Simpson, Sergeant Simpson of the Detective Division. Yes, yes, came the reply. The chief of police, you know, Hogan said, has ordered me to get in touch with you. He's sending me out with one of our men to see you. Okay, now Hogan had played a trick and he just made a call to the Rogers and said that chief of police had said me to be with you, to be in touch with you. There is kind of problem with you. Okay, उसने कहा कि ये पुलिस हेडक्वार्टर से मैं सिम्पसन बात कर रहा हूँ. मुझे चीफ पुलिस ने कहा है कि मैं आपके साथ राब्ते में रहूँ और उन्होंने मेरे साथ एक आदमी भेजा है कि मैं आपको देख सकूँ. यू कैन सी द मीनिंग ऑफ ऑफिशियल टोन मीन्स voice and manner connected with someone in a high position. Am I in trouble of some kind? asked Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers ने कहा क्या मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम है? No, nothing like that. But I have something of importance to talk to you about. Very well, said Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers, Mr. Hogan cautioned. Please keep quiet about this. Don't say anything to anybody. Okay, now The person on the phone on the other side was worried that is there any kind of problem with me, why the you people are coming to see me. The Hogan just replied, no, nothing is important, nothing is very big or worried about worrisome, but the thing is that we are coming. Okay. Then Mr. Hogan cautioned that please, again he said कि आपने किसी को बताना नहीं है इस बारे में, don't say anything to anybody, और आपने इस बारे में खामोश रहना है. Hogan explained his idea to Burns within 10 minutes. सर्जन सिम्पसन एंड डिटेक्टिव जॉनसन. ओके, अब ब्लैकी और हॉगन ने नेम चेंज कर लिए और वो क्या बन गए, सर्जन सिम्पसन एंड डिटेक्टिव जॉनसन, और वो कुछ देर बाद उनके घर पे आ गए. कम टूवर्ड्स पेज 74. ओके, वर स्पीकिंग to the Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was a small man. He was nervous, a badly frightened man. Hogan told Mr. Rogers the whole story. Mr. Rogers was delighted to be of help. Together he and Hogan dug up the suitcase. They took it to the living room and opened it. All the money was there, safe. Okay, now in this paragraph it is described that Hogan just told the Mr. Rogers and he just cooked up the story that it was we had hid that suitcase here, and Mr. Rogers was delighted to be of help. Now उन्होंने वो सूटकेस क्या किया, उसको ओपन किया, उसको वहाँ से पहले निकाल के लाए, फिर उसको ओपन किया, सारी मनी वहाँ पे, सारे पैसे उसमें महफूज पड़े थे. And now, Mr. Rogers, Hogan announced in his best official manner, Johnson and I must run along. The chief wants a report. We have to catch the rest of the robbers. I'll be in touch. Okay, in these lines he's saying that we should leave now because we have another task as well, and we have to report the chief. He picked up the suitcase and rose. Burns rose. Mr. Rogers also rose. The three men walked to the door. Mr. Rogers opened it. Come on in, boys, he said pleasantly, and in walked three men in police uniform. When Mr. Rogers, Burns and Hogan coming towards this door, and Mr. Rogers just opened that door. There were three policemen standing outside of the door. Now what is the suspense in this, that why there were police, and who called that police? You can see we can see this is Mr. Rogers, and there are three policemen, and the two persons, Blackie and Hogan, are also standing. While what does this mean, Mr. Rogers asked Hogan. Hogan ने पूछा, ये क्या बात हुई, क्या मतलब है इस बात का? It is quite simple, said Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers ने कहा, ये बहुत सादा सी बात है. It just happens that I am the chief of police. So the last line of the chapter describes the whole story, that Rogers was basically, Mr. Samuel Rogers was basically chief of the police himself, and he was just वेटिंग फॉर द स्टोरी टू एंड. और उसने सबसे एंड में ये क्यों डिस्क्लोज़ किया, क्योंकि वो उन दोनों को अरेस्ट करवाना चाह रहा था, और ब्लैकी और होगन ने वो सूटकेस उसी घर में दफनाया हुआ था. जब उन्होंने एक स्टोरी बनाई कि हमारे पास एक सूटकेस था, वो किसी का है और हमने अब उसे लेके जाना है और चीफ पुलिस को रिपोर्ट करनी है, तो उसने उनका साथ दिया. और जब उन्होंने खोला तो उसे पता था कि ये सूटकेस इनका नहीं है और बेसिकली यही रोबर्स हैं, तो उसने पहले से पुलिस को इन्फॉर्म कर दिया था, बिकॉज वो ख़ुद चीफ ऑफ पुलिस था. सो दिस वाज द स्टोरी दैट हाउ वी कम टूवर्ड्स द रॉन्ग हाउस. मीन्स के चोर इस दफ़ा एक बहुत ही गलत घर में चले गए थे. वो घर किसका था? वो चीफ पुलिस का था. एंड द सस्पेंस वाज जस्ट एंडेड at the end of the story. Now for you people, the home task is to match this column. Okay, take care student. Allah Hafiz.